Hey guys, it's been a while since we made a video, but we thought really it was important for us to make a video before everything started waking up and growing and sprouting. So here we are, it's winter, we're end of February, and this is what we started last year when we arrived. It's been exactly 1 year since we're on this land. We fenced this area and we started with 2 tree lines. This one in the back here has been decompacted like super deep. We broke our back. It was very slow and we weeded it every little inch. And actually you can see the result. It's okay. Here's some black poplars. They reach close to 2 meters. It's okay, but we were quite disappointed by how much work we put in. Here on this line, we did a lot less effort and the result is still actually a lot better than this one. So we started already questioning how much work we want to put into the preparation of the lines. In terms of species and everything, it was really nice to have a first experiment to see how this climate is, what kind of likes to grow, what doesn't. So that's been really amazing to just try it and just to put everything in and to not have expectations about like, oh, it should be perfect or it should be like that or it should fruit or it should this. Nah, just have fun, and it was really successful for this. And now we have a lot of ideas of what are the strong species that we would like to experiment further and what other species we would like to experiment that we didn't try with. So then we moved on to these tree lines. This is what we prepared. We put wood chips on it a few months before, already in the summer, so 6 months after we arrived. And then this autumn we uncovered the wood chips, and then with a broad fork we opened it up and we weeded it quite meticulously. And it took a bit of time, but it was already it was quite a bit faster because it was covered already, the weeds were a bit smothered, so that was alright. And then we went on to plant. Maybe you want to explain a little bit what we planted in these lines.
Cool.
Yeah?
So we prepared 6 lines of 20 meters inside of the fence, and we used really a big variety of species, both for support and for fruits. As fruits, for example, in this line we have peaches that are grafted, peaches that we found here are resistant to diseases, a bit stronger. And as bearroot as support we have ash, Morus alba, so mulberry, and elm,
Alnus.
and as well sometimes Alnus glutinosa.
Yeah.
I don't remember that in English, the current name. And every meter we have a support, every 4 we have a fruit tree, and in between that, every meter we have also a raspberry bearroot. Also for fruits, but also because they prepare the soil very well. And together with that, we have very small, either Robinia pseudoacacia, one time that, one time not mimosa,
Albizia.
albizia. It's plants that we made ourselves in forestry trays. They are a bit small, but I think they're gonna like it in this soil. We had a good experience with them. Here, for example, it's a bay laurel that has been a bit frozen by the freeze, and this is also, it's an olive that we produce ourselves that it's also like not doing so good. And then under that we put a lot of seeds, a lot of fruit trees, apples. For example, here we see an apple coming out. Here we see either an almond, either a peach. We put almonds, hazelnuts, walnuts, peaches, apricots, plums from seed that we ate, and we kept the seeds. You see so many apples, pears from seed, from wild pears. And then we also have strawberries to make a bit of a carpet and of a lower strata. And we also have support trees from seed as negundo and more ash, maple. Yes, and that's it. And then we have also, as a placenta, we have like wild broadbean, like a smaller type. That is also going to be nice as to make some mulch. Then here we have cardoon from seed. It's in the family of artichoke, so it's gonna become really big, and it's gonna make a lot of biomass. Here we have coronia from seed, which is a nitrogen fixer. It's a little bush that grows here around. And all along the line we have poplar cuttings every, let's say, 30 centimeters. So we could really say that we are trying a bit everything to see what works best, and hopefully to not have gaps in the system as we're having now after 1 year of the plantation that we did last season. And we're also gonna have some veggies growing. For example, in this case there's onions. We could plant radish, salads, rocket, spinach, whatever, you know, grows right now in the cool winter.
And maybe about the biennials.
And the biennials, we also like so many seeds of mullein, it's like a magic mix that we took from Romania, from the plants that were growing there, like catnip, melissa, like lemon balm, bardan,
Burdock,
burdock,
bitterdock,
wild carrot, wild fennel.
Yeah.
So there's really a bank of seeds that it's incredible. I think you can see the fennel is also sprouting everywhere here. It grows very well around here, so in the wild. So we hope that can be a nice support. That it's not gonna really cover the space this year. It's more really gonna cover it next year when it's gonna go to flower and it's gonna make a lot of biomass. And in between those lines, which are like 5 meters apart, we planted a green manure because here we had a lot of wood chips, because we were really inspired. We are really trying to do all the experiments possible to see what works, and we have this wood chip available for free. So we covered with wood chips, and since we really wanted to activate it and have some photosynthesis during the winter, we planted wild rye and broad bean. So you can see everything is so yellow around, and here it's super green and vibrant, and all this is growing in composting wood chip. And the idea is in summer to come and bend down the growth, which is gonna be hopefully like tall as me, and bend it down, and later plant sweet potatoes and watermelons. Maybe you would like to talk a bit about the grape line.
Sure. Maybe I explain real quick. It's just when you have grapes that grow on trees and the trees serve as a support, and you prune them a bit to the size you want, and the grapes just grow on it and you can harvest from it. And it has some benefits, like it can maybe protect from late freeze, which is what we're particularly curious about. And we put an elm because it's known for it, an Acer campestre also because it's known for it, and it grows, both of these grow amazing here. Like in the field they're the only ones that are here, so it's cool that it's working. And then the black poplars are faster to grow, so potentially they can support the grapevine in the early years. So that's it. We have those every 4 meters because we're thinking that 4 meters can be a nice distance between those grapes. And we're going to be putting a grape on each side, and it'll then go up. We also put, to keep it in the vine structure, we also put mulberries, not mulberries. Blackberries.
Thornless.
Yeah, thornless blackberries to also have maybe fruits a bit earlier. And for the rest, we just put like a bunch of seeds, and we put like a lot of strawberries that we picked up for free from a friend on both extremities. And then the seeds, we just did the same as what we mentioned earlier, especially with a lot of emphasis on the biennials, because we've seen that they can very quickly take the space and very quickly make crazy biomass and work the soil real good. So this is the fenced area that we finished planting with those 6 lines that we talked about before. And we were thinking we really needed to have a windbreak because we have a lot of wind over here and it's good to protect and to start it growing. But we were tired of doing all the broad forking because first of all it felt like a lot of disturbance to the soil. It took us a lot of time and it just didn't feel like we were working with the processes of nature, and potentially there was more passiveness that we could reach by working more with nature. So we were thinking, all right, we have this field and we want to get it ready for planting quite quickly. We don't really have any machines to till the soil, but we do have a little truck with which we can bring wood chips that we have for free on access. So we were like, we're just gonna mulch it with those wood chips. We put a thick layer, like high, 25 centimeters, and we really like got it placed onto the line of the windbreak, and we left it for 2 months because we didn't have so much time in advance. And now we were like, okay, it's gonna be time to plant. Let's open it up. It was quite some work to open it up, but it's doable in the morning. And then we saw that the weeds were still very much present, but smothered. So already a bit better. Because our soil is quite sandy, as you can see, it's sandy, loamy soil, that the structure is quite soft. We're thinking that it's not that it will suffer so much from compaction and heavy clay. So we were thinking that it would be enough for us to just open it and make some holes, because actually this is coming from an experiment that we did last year. We made those crazy syntropic lines that we like decompacted like crazy, and then we also just made some holes and popped in some trees outside of it because we didn't have time to take care of it, and those grew sometimes even better than the prepared crazy overthought lines. So that's why we were thinking, let's do more of that. So
If
here we
I-
have some.
If I could add that there's also these theories that the least you disturb the soil, the better it is for the plants. So even trees, they grow even better just by making a little, like a hole as big as the roots and putting it in, instead of like uncompacting and doing a crazy work everywhere around, because so you break a bit the life and the connection of everything in it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good to add. And therefore we were just taking the bare roots that we produce ourselves, and also we bought some, and we got them together and put them in a hole, added a poplar cutting, added a little plant that we produced, an evergreen that can be a good windbreak.
What is it?
This is the Elaeagnus ebingae. It's a very good windbreak winter and summer, and nitrogen fixer and drought resistant. And
from seed.
yeah, from seed, this usually costs like €4, a little plant like this, and it was very easy, no stratification. We just did it ourselves, and we saved literally like around €500 just for that. Here we have something that is a plum. Here we have an almond, an apple, some more of those Elaeagnus.
These are all trees that we made ourselves in the apron beds.
Yeah, in the apron beds.
So
Another poplar cutting. And in here is a lot of seeds. We have almond seeds, negundo seeds, we have ash seeds, all kinds of seeds. Here we have hazelnut. Here we bought this tree. It's a white mulberry. We've seen the mulberries grow amazing here, so we were like, okay, let's just invest a bit of money in that, because we know it's a sure thing.
but you can do that yourself as well. It's
Yeah.
very easy with
In
fresh
apron
mulberries.
buds
Fresh mulberries you
or
can.
forestry trays.
Yeah.
Direct sowing is a bit tricky because they like to be moist and they want to be on the surface, maybe later in the succession, but we haven't found the way yet. But forestry trays is great. Okay, and so forth and so forth. We planted a lot of stuff every meter. We're gonna put in also berry shrubs that we are importing from Romania. Shout out to Claudio. You'll never watch this video, but because they're quite cheap over there, and yeah. So we're gonna put them in every meter, and they'll be a bit like a pioneer, and at the same time also give us a crop if they're happy, but we have some faith. We're also going to be putting in a lot of fruit trees that we're also getting from Romania because they're cheaper and good quality. So we're going to be popping them in to have a lot of density here, but also just to have like a bit of a, to take cyan wood for later, to have the varieties, and also, who knows, to get fruit quite early. So it's just an experiment, that's it. But we have still the situation that we're just making holes and we still have grassy weeds, clumps everywhere in there. As you can see, like here, There's just it's present, and there's grasses and clumps. You can see them. So
You don't see them so much now, but
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to see them.
here you can see very well. Like
Yeah.
this whole clump is here. It's alive, and it's just gonna go again.
So how are you
as
gonna
soon as
do?
the temperatures get up. So that was a bit our mind. We're like, oh shit, how we do this? How we do this? But we're gonna try to have a lot of other things growing. In this case, we're gonna really put a lot of seeds of a placenta species. We're gonna put in some. I think last decision we're on now is to put
Hairy,
fava beans
yeah, fava beans.
along with like
Oats
little
or-
like wild fava, along with some oats. That will then cut. We have to cut it by hand because it's gonna be a bit fussy to cut it around the little trees, but we try to maybe not put it too much there. So that's the experiment we're gonna do because we think it's gonna be saving us from a lot of
Weeding.
weeding issues
Yeah.
later on.
And also,
And also like really start the soil and go the succession forward.
we like to plant potatoes
Yeah.
on the lines.
Yeah, where I'm standing right here, we're gonna be putting potatoes so that you have your tree, and then here you have a nice little mound, shoulder of potatoes, and on both sides, so that it really has a nice placenta and prepares the soil and yeah, creates good conditions.
And here we're gonna also sow a lot of like biannual and
Yeah, a bunch of those biennials, everything we
Aromatics.
mentioned before is the
Yes.
same, and we hope that they really
Yeah.
take the spot and bring the soil to the next stages. What do you want to share? Okay.
nothing.
All right, back to this interline. We covered it again. It's fresher wood chips this time, but you can see. Anyway, fresh wood chips. We're gonna be
It's a
hoping.
bit thinner here. It's not like 20 centimeters. Really
Yeah.
much thinner.
Yeah, and it's gonna be preparing our soil a little bit, and then we're gonna be planting. We hope to have artichoke rows because they are a great like pioneer and also make a lot of biomass early on. So
Okay.
here you can see we have the windbreak. Here we have artichokes, and here 5 meters further we again have a tree line.
Okay.
We're doing a bit the same, complete same approach, just a bit less dense because it's not a windbreak. And over here, this is the interline again. We have 3 rows of beautiful strawberries. Do you want to share something about them?
There you go.
Okay, you what?
Uh,
She's the strawberry.
Yes, our dream was to have a strawberry field. So in between those 5 meters, we managed to fit 3 beds of 70 centimeters of how do you call it, remontant or not? So the strawberries make a lot of-
Everbearing, everbearing, or
Everbearing.
like Maybearing or
So
June
this
bearing.
is like June bearing, and the idea is like they're gonna make a lot of new babies, and they're gonna colonize the whole bed. Like that's like what they call like matted row, and we also have a lot of plant production, so you can propagate it very easily. So we have 2 beds of that, and 1 bed of everbearing, which are a bit different because they don't make many new plants. But you can propagate it by crown. So after 1 or 2 years, you can take it out and divide it, and you can make new plants and place it somewhere else. So they're not gonna really like colonize all the space. So we're gonna think to plant other things with it. Maybe in summer to cover it with some climbing beans. Here, for example, we planted garlics in these rows. You can plant. They say they really like allium families. And then we have a 3rd line, a tree line, which is gonna be the same, with together with petit fruits, with small
Yeah, with
fruits,
berry shrubs.
with berry shrubs. There's gonna be red currants, black currants, and gooseberries every meter. And then here, that is not yet prepared, we're gonna plant raspberries together with support of Robinia pseudocacia and poplar and some Jimmy's favorite Alianthus. Just few ones for his own joy.
And we're gonna be mulching them quite thickly with this stack of.
So, if I may say, we are really thinking to how can we plant directly without having to prepare the soil, without having to till it, to weed it, and without having to cover it like 2-3 months before, or 6 months with a plastic sheet or something. So our idea is to make holes for the raspberries and for the supports, plant them, come and put a thin layer of composted wood chip, and then sow a green manure directly on it.
A thin layer?
Yes, like medium. It's true. It's
Okay.
not gonna be really super thin because also maybe we plant potatoes on the shoulders, but in the sense that it's not gonna be like smothered really the grass. But the idea is to plant straight away a green manure on it, because it's gonna really take over and grow much faster.
Sounds nice.
Yes, this is the idea. And then you come and you just chop the green manure, you place it, and you can continue by planting some vegetables, or the potatoes, for example, are gonna take over on the sides. So we're really thinking, how can we plant more with less? So we just have like a little truck. We come and we place the thing. Yeah.
And if I can add something,
Yes,
I just want to add that we're also trying to work with those pioneer, still fructifying species like a raspberry that can already deal with more weed pressure and also prepare the soil for further.
yes, and make amazing fruits.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Shall we head to
yes,
the next? Because we have even more.
we have even more, and here we have some beautiful artichokes from not from seed but from roots division, that withstand at -11, but we don't have like clay soil, so it goes really fast. The water is quite draining, and because we're continuously thinking, okay, how can we start preparing already the ground for next plantation, like this autumn, for example, because we really understood that it's not nice to be already autumn and not have grassy patches. So the idea is to start covering the lines that are going to be planted in autumn with some type of organic matter, and even better, grow something on it, because the messages that the plants give with their roots is like, the space is already colonized, it's already covered. So here we have a length of 20 meters again, and all the width is around 40 meters, and every 5 meters we put a tree line here with no interline. So the tree line is going to be planted with vegetables, with pumpkins that really can expand and can just run everywhere. They have a lot of space, and here we don't need to come and disturb. In the meantime, we sowed broad beans to eat, because they can grow really well together. They just succeed themselves. Once you harvest the broad bean already, the pumpkin, you can sow it in May. There we already started sowing also already a windbreak from seed. So ash, negundo, maple, I think we didn't have anymore, Eleagnus from our own plants,
Peach
cardoon,
seeds.
peach seeds, and all that. And we're gonna keep on adding. So the idea is to not come and broad fork anymore, because these are gonna be growing. So the idea is really like do the most of it from seed.
And even don't come to also dig a hole.
Dig a hole, no. We hope to do this from seed actually. And here, if we want to plant fruit trees, only there. If you really want something like a berry plant, you can. We're gonna make a hole. But otherwise, we try even everything from seed and then graft it ourselves, because anyway, it grows quite fast. So like that, there's gonna be pumpkins, broad bean together with broad beans. And because we would like also to do some more vegetables, also to support ourselves a bit and to make a little bit of income.
We didn't say what this was, but this it's a combination of horse poop and.
Ah yes. So first we put a little layer of horse poop, and then a good amount of composted wood chips on top, because I'm not so sure that things can grow very well in the composted wood chip directly. I like to have a bit of a mix also in terms of nitrogen, carbon. It feels more full of carbon, the wood chips, so I also want to make sure there's some nitrogen in it. and we didn't put anything else under. Like it's just on top of the grasses like this.
Yeah.
So now it might seem like he's gonna come through, but once the plants are gonna come, like the broad beans are gonna come out, it's gonna be fine. I have no doubt. And here we're preparing no-dig vegetable garden. Same thing with tree lines that they are getting prepared for autumn, and at the same time we're planting in them. In this part, because there's not much space for the pumpkins to run, we're gonna plant in the tree lines potatoes.
So this again is 5 meters away from the previous one.
And then 5 meters from the next one. And
in between, just sorry to interrupt, we have 3 beds of vegetables.
Of vegetables, yeah, of 80 centimeters.
So every 5 meter tree line and then 3 beds of vegetables.
Exactly. And same thing here, we put horse poop that we bought. It was this time we had to buy it.
50 euros a ton.
Yeah, 50? No, less.
Let's say, no, yeah.
I think it's like 30 a ton or something.
Yeah, that's it.
And then some fine composted wood chips on top. Quite a nice layer. So try to have 10 centimeter, a bit more of no-dig garden bed, because it's completely, we just prepared it 1 month ago. We started it. It's just cardboard on top of the grasses, and the cardboard is really like just helps a bit for the weeds to not come through so quick. But once the plants are gonna be growing, there's usually not so much weed pressure. It just comes one here, one there, but it's really fine. And here we are thinking to plant everything possible, trying to make our own seeds. We are making our own seedlings. So yeah, in the meantime that we're preparing for autumn for the tree lines, we're also having a vegetable garden. It's not it's more like a market garden. It's not just like a syntropic garden. There's not much perennials right now at the moment, but also we're not planting already fruit seeds or tree seeds in it, because the potatoes are gonna go in it, and we're gonna have to mulch them as they grow so that they're not exposed to light. So the idea is we just make a hole. We go basically at the soil level, we put the potato, and then as it grows we just add some fresh wood chip. It's completely fine because it has enough fertility, and like that. And then you can plant cabbages for autumn, leeks, and in autumn, in October, we can come and plant our tree line.
So
and the soil is going to be amazing prepared.
So just annuals on the first year and then moving to perennials in the autumn.
Yeah. You could do that with different things, but since we have a bit of fertility, we are like, yeah, let's grow some vegetables that we can eat and we can sell. Like that. So we're gonna have 9 beds of vegetable, and in total 8 tree lines of 20 meters. Already they are starting to be prepared to be weeded for us, and hopefully it's less work for next year.